What did you make of that then? Pathetic, gutless, but disappointing. I think that's the big word, disappointing. Bradford this season have been brilliant in the most part and pretty mediocre another part of the season, particularly that sort of November to December time. And again, at the minute now, we are looking very mediocre and average at best. And last night against Port Vale, it was pretty embarrassing but disappointing because we know how well we can perform. Through that January, February and March run, we were fantastic, performing at the best team in the league, a high level, and we were unlucky not to beat a top half championship team in Birmingham. Realistically, that's where that squad is, and we were very unlucky in that game not to have come away with a win and maybe going to Wembley, but we're going to have to settle for Wembley now because I fail to see how we can get into a top three if we keep performing how we have in those last 5 games. Aside from Colchester, we haven't scored in those games, and we've looked pretty gutless, uninspiring, and disappointing for the levels that we know we can perform to. It's not over yet. There's still optimism and belief in this squad, but when you look at the fixture list, it's one of the toughest in the league, and when you look at our away games, it is tough. Because we've got to go to Doncaster, we've got to go to an informed Chesterfield, we've got to go to Swindon, which is a tough place to go at the minute under Ian Holloway. Although they look like they're on the beach, they're going to get themselves up for a game like Bradford City, like Gillingham did. So there's no easy games from now to end of the season. They're all cup finals, it is win or bust, and there's a lot of the momentum's gone. You know, we thought it were gone after Gillingham. Tranmere, we bounced back against Colchester. Yes, we can definitely do that against Crewe. We're going to have 20 plus fouls in there again. Flags in the Kop. We're going to have a big Tifo display. Loads of there's going to be a lot of razzmatazz around that game, and hopefully it continues throughout the full 90 and we can get 3 points. That's huge, but that ain't going to define anything. We need to follow up against Swindon, because then we've got Notts County at home, who under Alexander we've lost 4-2 to, 3-0 to, and 3-0 to. We've been absolutely battered, but more importantly played off the park by that team, and I've got no optimism going into that one, and it's at home. So at any home game we have to be looking at winning. I've pretty much wrote that off. And Fleetwood on the last game we need to win, but realistically I'm looking at, I can only really see 2 more wins this season, which puts us on 76 points. We need 82, so we're going to have to perform to a level that is way above where we're performing now and more, because look, teams are performing around us. There's only Port Vale who seem to want promotion, and that's what I saw last night in that game. Them 11 players for Port Vale, they look like a team that were battling, that were fighting, and were going to take on anybody and anything that came in their way, because their 3 centre-halves mopped up anything, bullied our forward line, their strikers were bullying our defenders, they had pace in behind, and their midfield, again, they bullied us. They didn't look anything too special from what we've seen this season, but what they had were physicality, and they had a bit of grit and a bit of fight in them that we didn't have, and that's unacceptable. Now, where I've changed slightly is I don't really like knocking players for ability, but as long as they're giving 110%, because ability, it can be there, it might not be there, they're inconsistent, that's why they're in League 2. But at the end of the day, if you're not going to fight and you're not going to look bothered, then you can get out, because you're not ready to get into a promotion fight at the back end of the season in April. Because I was looking at body language of 3-4 players in that game, and they didn't look interested. You know, you got fans who are travelling on a Tuesday night to Stoke. What a lovely place to go. But that aside, you know, you got fans who are travelling, backing them. You know, fans clapping them off after that game, because we know what they've been like this season. We know what these players can perform like, and if they're not going to show it, then they've only got themselves to blame. They're fighting for a promotion on their CV. They're fighting for their careers. You know, you think it don't affect them, but it should affect them. It should affect them more than us, because this is their livelihoods. If you go to work tomorrow and you don't take no pride in what you do, and you're not that bothered, then that's on you. And, you know, it can come back to you, and you'd lose your job. And these players, they've got to take pride in their work, and they've got to... But when they came to this football club, it was intention to get out of this division. And if they don't go and do that, then the failure is just like the last crop of crap that we'd had for the last few years. They're just like the same of them. Whereas if they go and perform to the levels that they did the last couple of months, and if in these last few games they play to a level that they can and they want to, then they'll easily get promotion, and these group of players can be remembered as legends. Let's be right. The amount of promotions we've had as a football club is far too minimal for a club of our size and our potential. If these players get promotion, we'll be talking about them for years in the line. They've given us some great games, some great moments already. But if they're just going to laze about and they're not going to challenge, and they're going to look up to an opposition player and think, you're too big for me, there's no point challenging, I might as well play for the second, then not battle for the second, and then you lose out, and then they're in behind, and then they score again, then my flipping battery's going to go dead. Now, I don't know how I was before my battery decided to drop dead, but I'll pick up where I was. The fact that we weren't challenging, I was looking at particularly the midfield, aside from Smallwood and the centre halves in particular, and Lapsley, the whole bloody lot of them. The balls that went up in the air, whether it was or Port Vale, it went up in the air. They looked up, they looked at the man against them, and they didn't challenge for it. They showed no fight and no desire to go and win that ball. In the forward line, the ball got to a Lapsley or Tariq Wright or Brad Halliday or Teo Adramola. They looked at the opposition and thought, well, you're quicker than me, you're stronger than me, I can't beat you. I'm going to play it back and I'm going to take the safe option so I don't get anything laid back at me. What Bradford City fans will criticise you for is not trying. If you try and you look at that player and say, I'm going to beat you and I'm going to take you around the other side and I'm going to rip a crossing, or if I get tackled, I get tackled, but at least I give it a go. And Bradford City fans will always get behind you for giving it a go. Don't take the easy option. Don't play back. Don't be pedestrian, and don't do what we did tonight. And we still got behind them. You know, that they still won a corner, we got behind them, they won a penalty, there's still optimism and belief. That full-time whistle goes, to get clapped off, a few boos, and probably rightly so. You know, I wasn't part of it because I don't think it is quite right, because, you know, we're up there, we've still got 70 points, and it's still a good achievement for where we've been with the ups and downs of this season, to be still up there with a chance. I think losing Andy Cook in the 1st of January, everyone wrote the season off, and we've got a great chance to get promoted, and we've got a great chance. You know, we're not going to have a better chance to get out of League Two, and that's the frustration. We've got to be taking this by the bull of the horns, by the scruff of the neck. You know, we've got to be fighting and battling, and we've got to want it more than the opposition, and we don't. Against Accrington, they wanted it more than us. Don't like the safe. I mean, they're not quite. They'll take that point, having lost 4-1 to Fleetwood. You know, another team we can't beat, and then they'll go and concede 4. But teams seem to have wanted it more than us. Tranmere wanted it more than us. Gillingham looked a bit more up for it, and I don't like criticising them, but when they don't look up for it, it's very hard to get behind them. They were well up for it against Colchester. They were battling it like a cup final. We wanted it more. We were playing like we were in sync. Everything were great. It were free flowing, and that was the best football match I've seen at Bradford City in my life. And then you follow it up against Accrington and Port Vale with that type of a showing, and it leaves you wanting more. And we can't be leaving wanting more. It's now or never, as Elvis once said. And it is now or never. And like I say, I think we need 4 wins from 6. Tell me now, do you think we can get 4 wins from 6 out of those final few games? Because you can say, look, no one else is on form, and I'd be right with you. I'd believe it's right. You know, Wimbledon, they've fallen off. Doncaster have only won 1 in their last 5. A few more draws in there and a few more goals in there. They'll turn it around. But it's not as easy as that, saying they'll turn it around, because they're also on a bad run. So other teams are falling as well as us. But this is our chance then. Take it. Take this chance. We've had a chance to go top. We've had a chance to get a bit of momentum behind us. You know, we'd be on. It's easy saying it now, but if we beat Gillingham, Tranmere and Accrington, we'd be on 78, 77 points. We'd be on 77 points. 78 points, sorry. It'd be almost done. You know, that's the chance we missed there. And against Port Vale, I'm not so disheartened that we lost to Port Vale, because it can go either way against a quality team like they are. And to be fair to their fans, I thought they were great. You know, the atmosphere could have been better, but it's a Tuesday night. We've done the travelling. It's always hard to get up for a Tuesday night. But, you know, very gracious in win, which you don't normally get. And, you know, good luck to them for the rest of the season, as long as we get ahead of them. But we missed that chance because we were scared of them. And they had more fight from us. And that's the worst thing to say as a football fan. But it's right. And I hope Alexander told them home truths. Because, yes, they've been great, but they need a bit of a shaking up. You know, because they feel like, I'm looking at them, and against Cheltenham, they win 3-0. And take players who have come out from the cold play well, and they think they've achieved something. They've achieved nothing until they played the 46 games. I'll judge them, you know, come May when that final whistle goes in Fleetwood. But that's either way. I'll judge them when they're on a good run, because it could come to an end. I'll judge them when they're on a bad run. It could bright up again. Nothing's done. But that goes for the players as well, and that they've really got to go up a level now. We've won 5 away games all season. That's not good enough for a team that wants to get promotion. What's the solution? Everyone's saying the problem. What is the solution? Do you blame it on Alexander for not really changing it away from home? I don't know. I don't know the answer, and I don't think you know the answer, and I don't think Alexander knows the answer. The only answer is the players have the ability to change it. We can't change anything. It's like politics. You watch it. You have your own opinions, everyone has their opinions on it, but there's nothing you can do to change it. And it's the same as a football fan. It's delusional to think you can. There's nothing we can do to change it apart from try to get behind them, but that's what we have done. And it's made no blind difference. So it's up to them. It's up to them. Their destiny's in their hands. It's still in our hands, but it's on those 11 players that go onto a pitch against Crewe, that go on to battle against Crewe, go on to battle against Swindon, and that's what we've got to see it as. Alexander said after Cheltenham about the cup finals, and Jack Shepherd came out and said it and said he's going to have a word with him, and he got dropped 3 games after, yes, for injury, but he's got to come back in. We've got to play our best players, and it'll be an interesting thing to see. But these are cup finals now. It is win or bust against Crewe and Swindon. If we don't beat them, I'd be very concerned then going to have to play Notts County, who always flashes. Even going back to 2009, I think the beat is 5-1 or 5-0. They're always a team that score loads against us. And there's a hoax as well about us playing against a better team. I've said it and I've believed it, but when you actually look at it, we've only won 4 games this season in 13 against the teams in the top 8. 4. This is a team that play better against the better teams. We seem to fear the better teams. We look at them and we go, can't challenge that. There's certain games where, the wins and the Birmingham game, but we tend to, I don't want to say bottle it is a strong word, and we haven't bottled it today, last night, but we're very bloody close, because with the chances we've had, with the amount of chances we've had, with the amount of points that other teams have dropped, and with the chance that we've had to go top and to sustain ourselves in that top 3, we're very close to blowing it, and that's a dangerous thing for where we want to be and where we can be, because like I say, I'm so disappointed and so frustrated, because I know that these are much better than they're showing to put on in these last few games, aside from Colchester. And why could they get up so much for that game? They've got to be braver, they've got to play with a better intensity, better tempo, and braver's the word. They've got to want to take more shots on, they've got to want to play with a quicker tempo, they can't turn down passes, too many passes that they turn down, too hesitant in the final third. You're not going to get promoted if you're turning down forward passes and shots. You're not. And Port Vale didn't do that. And they took a shot on from the edge of the box. It got blocked. I thought, it's going over the bar, great block. It flew in. Because he took a chance, he had the shot. And that's all you need to do. Just have a bit of bravery to say, I'm going to try it. If it don't come off, it don't come off. Like I said earlier, if you try it, we'll get behind you. And I won't be raging today and last night. And I'm looking at this league table, the fixtures, the results, the performances, the selections, the comments, but the performances are more worrying than me than anything. And we've got to make sure we get out of it. We've shown runs under Alexander where we've gone shocking runs. We've shown runs under Alexander where we've gone on great, impressive runs that have got us to a great position. Now we've got to make sure we turn it around and we find a solution to these problems away from home, because if we don't, we aren't going up. Because if you're winning 5 games away from home all season, and you've got to go to Chesterfield, Doncaster and Swindon, then I'm sorry, you find it very hard for yourself. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, and subscribe if you're new. On the road to 900 subscribers, 13 away. Thank you very much for all the support we've been getting. Port Vale fans as well, they've been commenting on my preview, so let me know how you think on that game as well. From watching Bradford, do you feel like my comments are fair on my own team? But in terms of you, I think you're going up now. Definitely. Is Downmore still overrated? Yes, he is, because he's got a great team. And looking at that, it was the physical power that bullied us, and we mentally weren't ready to battle compared to how Port Vale were ready to battle. That's the big thing, and that's the big concern that I have of my team. But like I say, thank you very much for all the support recently. It's massively appreciated. Have a good one.